the only one available on Patreon is a sex trafficking ring, and someone's gonna be like, "Oh, Rohan." It's like, fuck, he got us. Lore Boys here, the internet's #1 horse lord podcast, is back to show you the meaning of haste. Parting old men from their walking sticks, as always, is me, Peter O'Donohue, and hearkening to me are...
Oh, my foot's stuck in the stirrup. It's Ethan.
I'm James, all facts, no printer.
Since Tolkien content has been requested and covered several times over on Discord, discord.gg/theloreboys, Jibo?
Lore Boys, just Lore Boys.
Discord.gg/loreboys. I have absolutely no fucking idea who requested more content about Tolkien, like, at all. I did not cross-check the launch date or the release date of the last Tolkien episode, which was Shadow of Mordor, with the last request. But if you did request it, this shout-out is for you. But more specifically, this shout-out is for our newest patrons, Megan, Bartnett, and Ian. Christ almighty, I hope you guys have some good ideas for what I should cover later over in the lore request channel on that Discord.
Yeah.
So, Ethan, Jamie, what's your favorite kingdom in Lord of the Rings?
Moria.
Okay.
Bad choice. That's a bad investment.
Wait, where's the dwarves from again? I just said the first thing that came to mind.
I mean, the dwarves do live
one
in
of their
Moria.
kingdoms was Moria.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
Erebor was a different one, also doomed.
I mean, it's got to be the Shire, right? Like, not. I guess they don't really have a king, but I don't know who they fall under.
That's true.
Okay. What's your favorite, Peter? Is it Rohan?
It's Rohan. as I may have mentioned in the past, I do need the acapella concerning hobbits going the entire episode, by the way, Jamie.
I think I'll do that.
Just for the next 90 minutes, it would be great if you just did that the whole time.
Should I get into some of the war themes too, or
no? Just concerning hobbits.
Okay.
The Shire is located in Eriador. There you go.
Eriador.
That's in the west, I think.
Yeah. You're in Eriador.
I actually know where the Shire is on a map because I think I still own Middle Earth Risk.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I have an idea of where Shire is on the map, even without Risk, just from all these Nerd of the Rings videos that I've been watching. I actually did have a small 20-minute nap today to, what if we just threw the ring into the bottom of an ocean?
And would fish get evil?
Dumbledore wanted a more serious end to it than that.
Would we have scuba orcs? Because that sounds cool.
Yeah. No, he says...
When you say Dumbledore wanted a more serious end to it than that, what does that mean?
Gandalf was like, I know Saruman
is... A different fake wizard from a different author from the same country at least.
Yeah. Gandalf was like, I know Saruman is like a fallen angel who's going to live forever, so throwing it into the bottom of the ocean, oceans change, landscapes
it's Sauron,
change.
not Saruman.
Or Sauron, sorry. And
so he knows where the Shire is on a map, let me tell you.
Yeah. Sorry, names I'm not as great with, but I could point to the spider place, that spider forest on a map. What's it
called?
He just said he's not good with names.
Not good with the names. I could post.
Well, if he's not good with names, you can't point to a fucking spider forest on a goddamn map. Which is
what is it called, Peter?
Mirkwood.
Mirkwood, right? And the Shire's here, and you have to go north and east to get to Mirkwood and you go east from the Shire, and you get to Prancing Pony Inn, and that's where you first meet that guy that I don't know his name, but I tried
to search Middle Earth map, and I wrote Middle East map.
So I actually did the exact same thing about 12 hours ago. It's the autocomplete.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's a map.
I can't believe Biden pulled the soldiers out of Middle Earth, man. The orcs are there, like on the treadmills and shit, running around.
Yeah, Biden pulled the Rohirrim out of the rune in such a clumsy way that they now all the Easterlings are riding roller coasters and shit on TikTok.
Yeah. Why don't you explain to me what all that means, Peter?
Yeah, exactly. So, as I may have mentioned in the past, my favorite character in the Lord of the Rings films is Theoden, King of Rohan. Bernard Hill's performance is brilliant. I love how afraid and reluctant he always seems to be, but at every turn, he listens to advice and accepts it from the people that he trusts. And in the end, he does die doing the right thing during the siege of Minas Tirith on the fields of Pelennor. We are, however, going to talk about the kingdom of Rohan as a whole. So I gave you guys a map, which will be posted for patrons as well over on Discord, which is just a map of Middle Earth with a little red square to kind of geolocate ourselves around what we're supposed to be doing.
The Shire is northwest from Rohan.
Yes.
Moria is north of Rohan, or along the mountains.
Is in the Misty
Mountain.
Yeah, Mirkwood, northeast.
You got to admit, north and a little bit east.
Maritime spiders, dude. Awful.
Do some more, Jamie. Do some more. This is good.
It's just good. Mordor in not so close to the Shire. It's a bit of a trek, I gotta say. South.
If I had to walk, it's no eagle support whatsoever.
Right.
And why is that? Would probably take me 18
because they're busy.
months.
They were busy defending their own home, right, Ethan? The
Yeah.
Eagles. Yeah, you told me that the other day.
Well, yeah, the Eagles
I
were
think we
busy.
talked about it last week.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a huge amount of what I'm going to talk about takes place in the Third Age of Middle Earth, which is a very long and, at least in this case, less fantastical era from like the creation myth and all the like more
What's current age? It's Third Age is the book, right?
I'm just going to explain it right now. It's this whole piece. The whole piece right now is because I also was just like, when the fuck is anything I am talking about happening in relation to a movie I watched in 2003?
This one I actually know. Like Third Age is modern. It's like the stuff that we mostly get via the Lord of the Rings. Then the Second Age is when the rings were like created way back when. Right?
Yes. Yeah. The Earth was flat back then.
The Earth was flat. That's the beginning of
Flat and Pure.
The Amazon series that we're watching. We're all watching, right?
We are, of course, watching Rings Amazon Prime.
I don't support Jeff Bezos.
That's the second, and then the first is the one I know the least about because it's so fucking long ago. But
yeah, even then. So the anchor point that I want to give people is that the One Ring is destroyed, and Sauron is defeated in the year 3019 of the Third Age. Okay. So, like the end of the third film, or at least the first of the first of the 15 endings that film has, because of course it takes 18 months to get back to the Shire. Like the only thing the movies do badly is time and distance, because even 5 hours isn't long enough apparently. But
they should have filmed Elijah Wood for 18 months and just like roll film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he should have walked across all of New Zealand wearing his silly costume and his rubber feet.
We never even saw 1 second breakfast to its entirety. We could have seen that.
Oh, fuck, that's true, yeah. So we saw multiple ghosts riding dragons and 0 second breakfast scenes. I cannot fucking believe that. So yeah, just so everyone knows, because I needed it when I was putting it together and everything else. Anyway, end of the third movie, 3019 of the Third Age. That's it. So Rohan is one of the younger kingdoms of men within the fiction. At first, it was known as the Kelendaron, which was part of Gondor, a kingdom ruled over by stewards ever since the Númenórean family line, including Isildur and Aragorn, got a little bit of bad press after that whole, like, I'm actually going to keep the evil ring and not destroy it event that happened, I believe, in the Second Age, or at least the beginning of the Second Age, which is when the War of the Last Alliance, when Sauron, of course, now is when his name leaves my mind. Sauron was originally defeated by Isildur when the ring is cut from his hand. Kalendaron is Sindarin, or Elvish for the Green Province, which was a fitting name thanks to that area's beautiful rolling hills. And for a very long time, the area was sparsely populated My theory is due to the fact that humans, no matter how hard we try, cannot eat and digest grass.
My theory is that if any of these people are nerdy enough to live in Lord of the Rings, they can't get laid.
Green province?
Dude, yeah, if you lived anyway, never mind. Because if you're nerdy enough to live in the fantasy world, you're not going to get a woman, is what I'm saying.
Of course, but also, what does green have to do with any of that?
You said that's why the population is so low. And sparsely populated.
Oh, yes, of course. Like,
No, why do these nerds eat grass?
Yeah. Explain.
Peter the
I'm
Goldfish.
glad I explained
only a
it.
memory for the last thing that he said. Like,
What?
Peter the Goldfish is only a memory for the last thing he said.
Oh yeah, I'm like a toddler, dude. Peekaboo still gets me.
Don't worry, it's funnier when I explain it twice, I think.
Yeah, and then we talk about it.
Yeah.
So at this time, there were already 2 locations that we'd recognize. They were built by Gondor and or the exiled Númenóreans in the Second Age. And like one day, TM, lore boys, there will be an episode about the Númenóreans, I guarantee it. And like after the destruction of Númenor and they emigrated to like Middle Earth itself, or like the continent that we're familiar with. So the 2 fortresses they had built were the Tower of Orthanc, which is within the fortress of Isengard, which is sound familiar to everybody, as well as the Hornburg within Helm's Deep. Helm's Deep
Also sounds
being
familiar.
the future name of like this massive canyon that we will get into later in the episode.
Okay.
So in
You're
25...
getting into a canyon? I didn't bring my like rock climbing gear thing.
Is that a crevice or a crevasse?
I don't even got any good shoes for this.
all rock. Vas.
Okay.
Crevasse.
All rock. Vas.
Cool.
Yeah,
Vas,
exactly.
Vas.
So in 2509 of the Third Age, the region was attacked by the Balchoth. This is a specific group of Easterlings who were under the influence of Sauron. The Easterlings themselves are often under the influence of Sauron. They attack Pelennor Fields in the 3rd film, as we've seen. And again, I will only refer to
they're
the
like
movies.
the mercenaries, right? With the big elephants and the ships.
They are, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So we do have a little bit more of like what they are based on. Also, one thing about the Easterlings, the only of the 9 ringwraiths with a name is Kamul the Easterling. He is one of the kings of the Easterlings that was given one of the 9 rings
cool.
of men who turned into one of the ringwraiths. And like, this is more of a Lore Boys canon thing. The Witch King of Angmar is a title, not a name. Kamul the Easterling is a name, meaning only a single of the ringwraiths actually has a name, right?
I'm not one to remember relevant discussions that we've had before, but I'm sure we've talked about the fact that the Witch King of Angmar was a title, not a name.
Almost certainly. I didn't even write it. It just like popped into my head just now because the thing I wrote was stupid, basically.
Which king?
Witch King of Angmar?
Which
Of Angmar.
Yeah.
Who's on
So,
first?
and also the Easterlings, of course, yes. A certain part of them. So, like, overall, the term Easterling is quite broad. Where early writings that Tolkien had written referred to the Easterlings as the swarthy men or the goddamn Italians. They aren't a single person. They're really, really analogous to the Persian Empire, which was just like this massive multicultural empire of like thousands and thousands and thousands of different cultures and people, all under one flag, fighting for one army, which would make sense since Tolkien's intent when writing The Lord of the Rings was just like, you know what? England doesn't have like wild Romanesque mythology associated with it, right? So he read Beowulf and he was like, that's not enough.
The Romans stamped it all out, right?
Oh, well, yes, of course, when they invaded and like built the fucking Hadrian's Wall, they did kill everyone and burn their writing, but
yeah. If you're not nice to your neighbor, you won't get enough curry sauce on your chippies or something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to come up with some good
English folklore. Greensleeves. It's about a prostitute. Jamie and I learned
that. Should I keep going?
Yes.
Sometimes you're playing Deep Rock with the homies, and you just got to look up what is the meaning of Greensleeves.
I thought it was a Christmas song because I learned it in a Christmas song book for finger picking guitar. And I remember
But
playing it for my family one
you
Christmas.
finger a couple of green sleeves, baby.
so it's
It is a minor.
not a Christmas song, but there's a popular Christmas song which shares a very similar melody, apparently.
Yeah, but it's right in there.
Oh, okay. It's the four chords of, of prostitution songs that you can learn,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if you've seen the Da Vinci Code, I think you know a little thing or two about Mary Magdalene.
So the Easterlings themselves are overall, all of them, the multiple cultures, including the Italians, are
not a
based out
monolith.
of they're based out of Rune, which is east of Mordor, which is where the like common tongue name comes from. But they are indeed, of course, like Ethan just said, not a monolith. It is a massive amount of people who are like.
Anytime the Italians moved in, the place is ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there goes the Shire. I suppose would be the common sentiment, right?
There's too many fatbergs in the lake now.
Hobbits would fucking love pasta, though.
Oh yeah, they would.
They would go nuts for pasta.
Dude, imagine them like slurping it down, twirling a spaghetti with their big toe there. Oh, baby.
You think there's a lot of foot play in the Shire? You think they get off on that shit? Or
Yeah, the guy
they're probably very used to it. It's probably the most mundane thing on the planet.
Moschino Dorito, the TikToker who I based my own mullet off of, has a great bit where Tolkien's like, yes, they're a humble people. And big feet. They have big feet and big stinky feet, and they're always on display, no shoes. It's like, why that detail, man?
So the Steward of Gondor.
I'm happy you have it. I'm sorry, Peter. I'm happy you have a TikToker that you based your mullet off of. That's just a great sentence.
Yeah. That also hit me in a bizarre place in my brain where I didn't know how to react.
It's a part of the brain that is almost never activated. Apparently,
no, of course
it lights up one day. And you're like, oh, okay, that's there.
Yeah, it's like
you see a UFO, and then Jamie says that, and the same part is like whoa.
He just has a similar face shape to I, and also kind of a little bit ginger. So
he could be you.
There you go.
So the Steward of Gondor at the time was a man named Cirion, which I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, which is Cirion.
Yeah, don't want to offend any of the Sindarians, right?
Well, no.
I always thought they were the Sindari for some reason.
I think Sindarian is a different thing, but it's like Sindarian, like with like IAN in some other. This is excuse me, it's Cirion. Is also what I said.
I don't know if it's important in the fantasy world if it has like a Latin or a whatever base, but
it's all Old English.
It is all Old English. Okay,
yeah, it's
all
all
Italian.
like pre-Germanic, pre-Latinized, like all. It's fucking Beowulf, dude. Like,
okay,
that's where we're going here. Like a bunch of weird accents you don't recognize, even though I speak French. Just like all this crazy shit that doesn't go into Google Docs. So if I'm fucking up the pronunciation, yeah. Right, excuse me. Where was I here? Yes, Cirion. So like while Cirion was a steward of Gondor, he was the ruler of the area that would become Rohan, because Rohan did not actually exist at this point in the 25th millennia of the Third Age. And
like 600 years before the ring was destroyed.
Precisely. Yeah. So this is all very like kind of Middle Ages here. So the what the fuck were they called again? Oh, the Swarthy Men, the Italians attacked, and Cirion's army was practically destroyed when they originally invaded. Messages were sent to Cirion's allies. However, the only messenger who actually survived and managed to successfully get help was a man named Borondir, who apparently appears in the Lord of the Rings Online, which is a free-to-play MMO still available on Steam. Jibo,
I know someone who plays it. Like, I have an IRL friend who plays it a lot. And it's just, he's like a 45-year-old dad, and he goes to my dog park, and he's like, people don't like it. I fucking love it. I play it every day.
It is apparently, as far as like Lord of the Rings goes, I saw citations on everything I looked up today. Every single thing cited Lord of the Rings Online. Because I think when you get a canvas as wide as an MMO, you can just fucking put in everything. Barondir, the messenger of Sirion, to go get help for like the Easterling invasion of Rohan in the 25th millennium. He's in it. He's there, and he has a fucking character model. Like, they just put in everything, which is so cool. It's
Reminds
such
me
a
of when we
cool
played
idea.
Elder Scrolls Online for a bit. How you get to like go to every continent, to do everything.
Yeah.
I'm pulling that up though. I'll put it on my list. I have stuff to play right now, but that could be a fun one.
It might be a fun one-off for your stream, Lord Boy James.
Yeah, could be fun.
Right?
Thank you for the plugs. Yeah.
More voice Jamie.
So,
Hey.
What? Peter gets a thank you, and I get shit.
You're a detractor. You're a detractor. If I had an NPS score in this podcast, you'd be a detractor.
Mm-hmm.
So, Barondir made it to Framsburg, which was on the northeastern edge of the Misty Mountains. Framsburg was the capital of the Eothod, of the Horselands. So at this time, the chief of the Eothod was a man named Eorl the Young. Famously, he tamed, Felaroth, who was one of the Meras. The Meras are a race of magical, intelligent, and long-lived horses. They are said to all be descended from a group of powerful, like even more magical horses who were brought to Middle-earth by Orome, who is one of the Ainur. And he was one of the angelic beings directly responsible for creating Earth, like the world itself, along with Iluvatar during like the creation song that we go over in an episode that we had recorded like a couple years ago.
First Lord of the Rings episode talked about the creation. Yeah.
I think it was yours.
Yeah.
I think you did the creation myth, and then I did like the rings, and then Shadow of Mordor and whatnot.
Sounds possible. I'm a big creation myth guy.
You are, yeah.
What's the name of that guy? That guy that you just introduced at the beginning?
Which one?
At the beginning of your sentence.
Oh my god.
Eorl.
It sounds like he's making up his name as he goes. My name is
Eorl.
Yeah, Eorl. It is written Eorl.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Eorl.
Yeah,
It's like
Eorl. It's probably Earl because a lot of, stylistically, if you look at the costumes that they very authentically tried to recreate in the films, they're very Old English. And if you watch any kind of 8th, 9th century TV shows based on English history, like Vikings or The Last Kingdom, or as I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Old English is very weird looking before like civilized people got to the island. Yeah. Where like everyone is named Ethelwulf and Ethelwold, and then Ethelweld. So you've got Ethelwulf marries Ethelweald, and their son is Ethelwarn or some shit. And then
this
Tolkien
sounds like an organic chemistry class.
Exactly. It like frankly, having an inbred kid is more difficult than chemistry. The ingredients are way less clear.
Earl is a name.
I put Pepsi and Mentos into the pussy. I don't know what's happening.
Dude, I made my wife squirt so big last night.
This Ethel wielded no results.
Jarl is a name, and it is just Earl. Jarl is an Old English word referring to a person of noble rank. It is the ancestor of modern Earl.
Yeah, nice. A lot of the names we're going to come up through, or like come up against in this episode, are very much just like regular words you're familiar with, spelled differently, that are just like some guy's name. Whereas like your last name is Miller is like way easier to comprehend than mine.
Yeah.
And spelling Earl with an O.
Yeah, which is disgusting. And
my father is adopted. Did you guys know that? That my real last name is not Miller?
Yeah. So when I saw your dad last week, I wanted to make a joke about like always hanging out with him, but I couldn't remember if he was adopted or not, so I didn't say it. Just in case.
Yeah. Honestly, you can shoot and miss with a thing like that with my dad. It would have been fine.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, he was adopted. Original name Vino, which is swarthy.
That makes you one of those fucking swarthy Italians.
I'm a swarthy Vino, which just means like a wino, I guess. So
Jamie, I think it literally means wine.
Yeah.
No.
It's Venus Veritas. So yeah, I guess it makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, Vino is Came.
Yeah, Vino
It's
wine.
It's
Vino
V-
Veritas, true wine.
It's Veinot though. I don't know if that Veinot.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
Venomoth.
French.
Jamie's name is Venomoth.
No, Vino, that'd be
Venomon.
French. Like VNOT would be
think
French. But yeah. Because I know a friend of mine's last name is Amyot, AMYOT.
Mhm.
And
I
his,
go by my Scottish roots mostly, more so than like because my dad also has a lot of Scottish roots, and then my mom was like 100% Scottish. Like both her parents were from Scotland. So I go by the Scottish roots more than the whatever the Vino means.
yeah, I mean, you're
But,
portraying yourself as a Canadian white guy, which most people could probably guess.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway.
It's me.
Turns out we're all white. Oh no,
Oh no, I have one eyebrow. That is my one ethnic
that's
thing.
true.
Yeah.
Your claim to claim to fame.
Yeah, it's my N-word
Nice.
pass, because I have to plug my eyebrows. Excuse me. So anyway, at this time, the chief of the Eothode was a man named Earl the Young, like I said, and he tamed Felaroth, which was one of the Marass magical horses. Forgot kind of my place there.
Shadowfax is a magical horse, right? Well, we'll get to it. I'm way jumping at.
We will get into him, yeah. Where was I?
So I prepared some
right.
jokes because you let me know that we're going to be talking about Lord of the Rings. So while you're
Let
getting
me get back on track.
No,
Just
while you're getting
super
on
quick, because
track,
I lost the plot there with your dad's adopted parents or whatever.
I'll rattle them off. So that orc was based off of Harvey Weinstein, right?
Yes.
We got the One Ring. How about the Me Too ring? Am I right? So we got the
TWO. I don't get it.
Yeah, you could have done what about the like sex trafficking ring or something, right? Because then it's like a ring.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, we're workshopping now.
Well, now we're just workshopping loser titles to give to people that no one will guess what I'm covering. It's just the only one available on Patreon is a sex trafficking ring, and someone's going to be like, "Oh, Rohan." It's like, "Fuck, he got us." Anyway, Earl's father, Leod, had tried to tame Felaroth, the Marass. However, he was killed when he was bucked off. So sadly, he did not get off scot-free with just a broken off nose like Ethan's mother did. He just broke his neck and died, right?
Literally broken off. My poor mother.
My dad got off scot-free with his name changed.
I mean, trying to mount and break a demigod of a horse does feel like hubris, right?
You got to run it in circles first. I saw them do it at the farm. You just got to run it in circles a bunch, and then you can ride it.
It's called lunging. You lunge a horse.
Yeah.
So Leod,
and you make them run in a circle until they get too tired to buck you off.
Leod is not a demigod. However, Felaroth is.
Yeah.
So he was bucked off and killed, and he broke his neck. There is a tapestry in Lord of the Rings Online, which I did not save, which is just like, yes, our hero king, where it is just a tapestry of him fucking eating shit and breaking his neck being bucked off a perfect and white stallion, which is hilarious.
I mean, okay, if I can Lore Boys canon a little bit here, like it does feel like if you're a society, a kingdom, which reveres these, divine horses, then like you're like the tapestry is kind of showing that divine horse as well, right? And like its spirit in killing their king.
Yeah.
I feel like it may have been a retcon, basically, because Earl sought the horse out, and instead of killing it, because the Marass are magic and can comprehend human speech and long-lived.
Mare ass? Like
they're
female
called the
horse butt?
It's called the Marass. I'm using the movie pronunciation because it's the only time I've ever heard it spoken aloud, right? And Legolas says, like, that is one of the Marass. And, like, so yes.
Shh, calm down. Calm down, Lady Buns. We're okay.
Whoa, Lady Buns. Whoa. It is written Mearas. So do with that what you will, listener.
Got it.
Earl sought the horse out, but instead of killing it, made a deal. The descendants of Felaroth would always be exclusively ridden by Earl and his descendants and the future kings of whatever kingdom that he was within. So he was just like, look, you killed my father. I'm king now. I could kill... It would appear as though they can just die and be made into dog food like regular magic horses, right? Like there's no actual special rules other than the fact that they're intelligent. And
Mordor was known for its glue factor.
Pardon?
Mordor was known for its glue factor.
Oh well, that was one of the original sins of Morgoth, right? Was turning like Orome's torches into glue.
Yeah, well, no, it was just that glue was invented at all by Morgoth, because all the other people were like, here I am creating these different things. I created elves. It's beautiful. And Morgoth's there like, I'm going to glue an elf to a human. Ha, you can't stop me.
Yeah, Iluvatar's just been weaving people into pieces with like making a chimera out of like tying a lion, a snake, and a goat together with reeds. But Morgoth was using glue made of horses.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yeah, Mordor would be a perfect place for a glue factory. You'd have like a hole in the side of the
goo factory.
A glue factory. You have like a hole in the side of the mountain, and just the lava comes out and melts down the horses into their essential parts of glue. Right?
Glue and
yeah, of course. Mount Doom is just Elmer's glue pouring out of it the whole time.
Yep.
I had a kid named Chris Baxter, and I don't know where he is now. Who I remember, this is a core memory, where he had BAX. He, in elementary school, would like sunblock on his arm, white glue, and let it dry, and then peel it off, and then eat it.
I never, not the eat part, but I definitely did the glue on the hand and peel it off. But I never went as far as eating. I also used to scare my teachers.
It was like a
staple myself. I used to one time looked my French teacher in the eye and stapled my own chest, and she just sighed and went back to work.
Yeah, we were too old for them to be phased. Now that my wife is a high school teacher, I get a lot of those stories, and it's like, yeah, they know that you're just you're stapling your own self. We weren't hurting anybody in the library, stapling each other's arms.
Yeah, we had good fun.
Anyway, here's the picture now of Earl riding Filleroff after having broken him, basically.
Okay.
So there's only ever been made a single exception in the line of the Meras of just like the Kings of Rohan riding one of them. And that, of course, would be the wizard Gandalf, who was given permission to ride Shadowfax by Theoden.
It was Theoden who gave him permission.
Yes. So I had looked quickly, and I couldn't find any information about Snowmane, who is King Theoden's horse that we see in the film and in the books, whether or not it was like one of the Meras. And I didn't see anything about like Meras existing like one at a time. They aren't, as far as I know, like Highlanders or anything like that. And I put this in on purpose. A postscript, because I did hit up a buddy of mine. I spoke to a friend of the show and Tolkien expert Oren, and he said that Snowmane is not one of the Meras, and there is some tension in the books between Gandalf and Theoden. He described it as being horse-jacked. So this is Lore Boy's canon. This makes Gandalf the rootinest, tootinest of the five wizards, because he is the only one who has ever rustled livestock.
Horse snow mane sounds like something you would eat.
What?
Horse snow mane sounds like something you would eat.
I mean, it's like if you're drunk as shit at a Chinese restaurant.
You have some horse and noodles, some chicken. Yeah,
like, give me some horse snow mane.
You guys ever eaten horse?
It's quite good.
Friend of the show, Bobby, brought horse meat over to my place one time.
I've had ground horse.
It's ground horse.
Super lean. So you have
to. They don't fly, you idiots.
What?
Ground horse?
Oh.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a lean thing. I'm just like,
yeah, I did the
fatty chickens.
Second memory.
Another heirloom of the Kings of Rohan is the Herugrim, which is the sword of the king, which I will give you guys a photo of in a moment.
Okay, so we kind of glossed over it, but are we saying that Theoden gave up his horse of this line to Gandalf for like preceding the Council of Elrond? Like, just like having ingested, this is very cool to me. Having ingested this just through the movie, like it really seems like, oh yeah, he's always had Shadowfax, right? Like it's Gandalf's horse, I guess. It's probably like an immortal horse that he rode around on for however long. But it's cool to hear that like Theoden just gave it to him.
So that's partially true. Gandalf, of course, being like Maiar, I believe, is his race. he is unique and millennia old. So the idea that he would just be like, yo, I'm straight up an angel, 105, Mr. Theoden, I would love to borrow your horse at some point. Like, remember, I have not gotten through the books. I tried when I was 9, and they were just too hard, and I never tried again.
I feel like I could have gotten through them when I was like 12 or like 15, but not now. I don't have the time or energy.
Yeah,
to get
exactly.
through them,
Yeah. So from like what I understand, just like from talking to Oren today, was just like there is some tension between there because there is something uniquely special. There is a relationship between the Meras and the Men of Rohan, especially the line of the kings, where it's like, no, it's only them, with a single exception in history that we know of being made for Gandalf. But Gandalf very much is like this ever-present like force of good in Tolkien's books, and Tolkien's books are very, 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 very black and white, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Tolkien would say
good
use
guys,
a
and
better
there are
word
like
instead
there's a
of five
race of like
berries.
blood drinking monsters made by the devil, sort of thing. There is no nuance. There are no good moral orcs or anything like that because they were made by an evil man with evil magic, and the Uruk-hai were like modified evil men made by an evil angel, sort of thing.
The way the clip that you sent to us, or not the book, sorry, the movie, the way the clip you sent to us made it seem is like they'd run into each other over their millennia of existing, right? Like, sure, Theoden said, yes, you can borrow it, but he's like, Shadowfax, an old friend. So it seems like he has his own relationship too with the horse.
Yeah, and Tolkien's very pro-nature. Like, Radagast is very much the hippie wizard, and it's not for no reason that living trees destroy an industrialized Isengard, right? Like he didn't just like, oh, wouldn't it be cool? Like, it's
goddamn
for a reason.
vegans destroyed my glue factory.
Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't it be cool?
So from the wiki, I have when so Gandalf escapes Orthanc, the prison in Isengard, right?
Yes.
Goes to Theoden and needs to get to the Council of Elrond, essentially, right? When asked by a suspicious Theoden is just like, take any horse and just get out of here. Like Theoden didn't trust him and said, just take any horse and get out of here. And Gandalf was
Here's
like,
a skeleton key. Don't take the magic horse. He's like,
yeah,
fuck.
Exactly. Well, I guess I'll take Shadowfax then.
Yeah.
Managed to
They definitely knew each other though, like, because Shadowfax, the Meras are very, very long lived, and not in the way that like a wizard would be for like thousands of years, where like Gandalf arrived, I believe, in the Second Age or something like that. He's like 1500 years old. Shadowfax is probably like 80 or 90.
If he arrived in the Second Age, he's much older than 1500 years, right? Because we're in 2500 Third Age.
31. Oh yeah, 2500 now, I guess. Yeah, it's interesting. It's hard to kind of read a horse's body language to see how well they knew. Like, he kind of ran up and he gave him it's not like they dapped him up, did a handshake or nothing, but the horse seemed to trust him.
So when I rewatched that clip, there's a really good detail where everyone behind Gandalf bows to Shadowfax. Gimli and Legolas, like within the frame, bow to him.
Good,
because he is at present, when like while shooting that scene, Lord of all horses, as Gandalf states.
It's nice to see a beast of burden get a little credit, you know?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gandalf created at the beginning of time. That's how old he is.
Oh, dang. Well, he arrived in Middle Earth.
Yeah, originally called Aloran, he arrived in the Third Age.
There you
go. Yeah.
So 1,000 years after the Rings of Power Amazon Prime show, where he falls from the sky and talks to a stupid fat bitch who likes to eat raspberries.
Oh, I like her.
I don't know what her weight has to do with anything, but
she's not really. Yeah. She's not really that overweight. She's just kind of like chubby cheeks. She's also walking like.
No, the other one.
Oh, can you do an impression of her for it so I can remember?
No, I only watched the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. I can't believe this meteor man burned up all my berries.
Give me another Uncrustable.
I'm on a diet. Cut the crusts off.
Yeah. I lost some weight. Doctor took my foot. We were talking
so
about
like
sword. Sorry.
Yes, exactly. Like I said,
super
the other than the genetic line of the Maras, the other heirloom the kings of Rohan get is the Herugrim, which is the sword of the king. I posted a picture for you guys. It is the one where the two horse heads form a heart on the hilt, and it is the sword that Gandalf hands to Theoden, or I maybe it's Grimbo who does it. Like one of the guys in that scene.
Grimbo? Is
Gambling and Grimbo are two dudes, like two of the like captains of Rohirrim, like in the movie. Because I remember he's like giving orders to a guy. In like, my favorite scene in the film, it's like the fields of Pelennor when they're just about to. Oh yeah, it's just the pronunciation of the actor.
Sounds like someone for Bug Snacks, like Grimbo and Filbo and Triffany.
Really yeah. Grimbo, get your bunger down the left side. So anyway, another heirloom of the king is this sword, which is called the Herugrim. Earl's army, which was 7,000 fully armed cavalrymen, called the Eothed.
That's 14,000 arms.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't mean to throw you up.
Quick math.
Yeah, so Earl's army, which was 14,000 arms, possibly attached to men, defeated not just the Balchoth, but also the orcs that had joined them out of the Misty Mountains. So after Sauron had originally been defeated in like the War of the Last Alliance, I believe it was in like the Second or the First Age, when the ring was cut from his hand and claimed by Isildur, the surviving orcs retreated into the Misty Mountains and just became like gross little mountain people.
And that's why at Isengard, that's why they dig up the old orcs there? Or
I don't know how an Uruk-hai is created. It is through dark magics.
It's the same as a fruit fly that we talked about in
it could be that old like alchemical science of just like, oh no, maggots just appear on meat, actually. Maybe one day we'll get into like the dark races of Middle Earth, where it's just like, well, how do you make an Uruk-hai? Do you dig the corpse out of the mud, or is it like some other thing? Or in the kind of adaptation to film is the creation of a strong monster, just like burying something using wizard magic and then digging it out of like an amniotic sac in a ditch, basically.
It's like that Finnish or like some Scandinavian country, that like rotting shark that they eat, right? Like
yeah. It's like the shack shark, where you just like hang it up in like a wooden wooden shack or whatever, right?
When you open a can, it's recommended to open it underneath you fill a bucket of water and you open the
herring
can
thing. That's a Swedish thing that you open in a bucket. They're straight up is like fetid shark jerky that some awful race of white people have decided they want.
Iceland.
Iceland. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to open this outside of a bucket of water, right? So to Jamie's point, if I had to open a can of this, I'd probably do it under a bucket of water.
If I had to eat my rotten shark, I would eat it underwater, personally.
Under the sea.
So, when the Eothed arrived, the engagement between the Easterlings, the Orcs, the Eothed, and Gondor, of course, because remember, Gondor is being invaded because we're not in Rohan yet. The engagement was called the Battle of the Fields of Celebrant, and this took place just south of Lothlorien, the home of Lady Galadriel and her husband Celeborn. So it's very close to a lot of the regions that we're like more familiar with. After their victory, in exchange for their help forever, so it's very much like a contract between Rohan and Gondor, Sirion gave the entire region of Kalandaran to Earl, and the Horse Lords would abandon their previous home of Fransburg in the north and resettle in Kalandaran. Now, in our last Middle-earth themed episode, we talked about the Shadow of Mordor, and the main character, Talion, is a Northern Ranger who is very much from this northern region, this kind of like
the northern region being like Fransburg or wherever the Rohirrim are from? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm looking at the map, I don't see Fransburg anywhere.
It's because it doesn't exist anymore. It's very much like
it's just too old. Okay.
Yeah, there are ruins that still exist, even in the Fourth Age, apparently, but it's very much gone at this point. Like these guys were like, oh fuck, Gondor gave us an entire province to take care of. We need a much bigger and sexier capital city.
Yeah. Franzburg existed until their Archduke Franz Ferdinand got shot right before Middle Earth War One, and then
Right.
after all of that, there's
Yeah,
more
Gustavo
Franzburg.
Princip eating a
It's with an
sandwich.
M. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's with an M. Frams Ferdinand. A detail in the films that I missed completely due to the fact that I am illiterate is that when the people of Rohan refer to the area as the Mark, it's actually a shortened slang version of the Rittermark, which is what they call the area in their own language. Like everyone in it this is a thing that I guess he created. In Tolkien speaks common tongue, which is just
Yeah.
English or whatever the film is dubbed into.
Sure, yeah.
Right, like in Rohan, they do speak a different language, which is called like whatever Rohirish or something like that. They refer to Rohan in their own language is called the Rittermark. So the mark is a shorthand in the same way that we would call like Toronto the Six or something like that.
People call it
Right.
the Six. Wow.
Have you not heard that?
I don't
People,
know if
maybe
I've heard that,
Drake
but
only. I have
can
no
believe
fucking
it.
idea.
And Drake's penis is out there now. You can see it.
Yeah, we call it the Six.
Yeah.
it's a little more.
6 inches too short or too long. I have no idea. I haven't seen it. All I know is he's not doing nearly as much cool shit as Hunter Biden is with his big old hog.
I'm waiting for the
That
Hunter
dude-
Biden episode. I know you love it.
He's so fucking cool, man. He's so fun. I love Hunty.
He would
I'm
earn the
waiting for it.
respect of one of these horse lords.
Oh
Enough-
yeah,
enough to ride that stallion.
absolutely, dude. Yeah. Earl finally managed to break Hunter Biden. That's and then was gifted the kingdom of Rohan.
Yeah, someone hacked his pocketbook or something. What's
Yeah,
a laptop in Middle East?
Oh, man, what
In
would it be?
Middle Earth?
Yeah, I don't know, just like a scroll or something
It's
like
that,
that.
it's that
Must be,
ball that Saruman uses that
That's a
Pippin picked up out
Palantir.
of the water. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I can't believe Hunter Biden left his Palantir just in New Jersey for a drunken, disoriented
Think
whoever the
about-
mayor of New York was.
Think about scrolling through Twitter for an hour and a half and tell me it's not as evil as like gazing into a Palantir, right?
I would rather have a dark god poison my thoughts than scroll through Twitter for 90 minutes, dude.
Honestly, if you're
sorry. I thought you were gonna say I'd rather have a dark god poison my thoughts than look at a Palantir. Because that's what Twitter is, right?
I'll take the fucking Palantir any day of the week.
I think, yeah, like Apple should make the eyeball or whatever, and they should just go full on into that. You got to put the hat on. You got to do the hand motions around the ball when you're on
So I
Twitter.
don't want to alarm
be a
you,
lot
but
more
there is
honest.
already an evil billionaire who I think is Peter Thiel, who like drinks the blood of his gay lovers, has created a spy software called Palantir already. And one of you needs to pull up the clip. Palantir is a real thing already that I think the Israeli government uses to spy on people.
I pulled up drinks blood of gay lovers. Sorry.
Okay, well, I'll get you guys on two halves of the same coin there.
How Peter Thiel's Palantir helped the NSA spy in the
I
world.
fucking told you, dude. That guy's
I
crazy.
did my own research. I know.
Yeah.
I drank the blood of a bunch of gay guys. I know.
Look, hey, we've all had our fair share of gay guy blood, okay? Let's not start pointing fingers here.
Yeah.
I'm not Hunter Biden or nothing, just banging whores on water slides and doing cocaine.
I don't know nothing about Hunter Biden. That does sound cool.
Dude, he is so fucking cool.
Didn't he like marry his brother's wife or something after his brother died?
Yeah, so his brother died of brain cancer, and then Hunter married and started fucking his sister-in-law. Also cool, I guess.
Is
I
that
don't
cool?
really know.
Is that
I mean,
cool?
It's a bit medieval, frankly.
I mean, he's gone. What's she gonna do? I don't know. Like there's a weird gray area for me. I don't think that makes a man evil.
Maybe not evil, but
Like I don't know. Like what do you want her to do? Like
I have a bad taste. I have a bad feeling about it because I watched a YouTube documentary. I feel like they were talking before he had passed and stuff, so there was some kind of.
Well, so does
But-
your beloved
Well,
doctor.
you've
So does your
got
beloved
to
Dr.
flirt with your
Seuss, okay?
sister-in-law while your brother has brain cancer.
Yeah, you gotta plant that seed,
right?
yeah, of course,
Yeah,
of course.
Jinx, you owe me a sister-in-law.
You owe me some seed.
I want to say Dr. Seuss did the exact same thing, or like he was the opposite. Like his wife was dying, and he started cheating on her. But
Oh, yeah, no.
maybe I'm making that up.
She was actually, yeah, he was
It's
trying to
not
have
dark.
babies,
We're
and she
talking
was
about Lord of the
barren. She had green eggs and ham, and
Her eggs were green. It was so
I was
mean.
trying to make a Thneed joke.
okay.
Anyway, 30 years later, after being gifted the Kingdom of Rohan, Earl and Fëloreth would sadly be killed by another group of Easterlings, and they would be entombed within a burial mound outside the new capital of Edoras. This is the the Golden Hall of Medusel, which is the building that we've seen in the films, had not actually been built. So the Capitol building that we see in the film comes after Earl has already been entombed. And this absolutely is just one of the coolest fucking things on the planet. This picture I'm about to send you guys, because 20 years ago, making a movie used to mean something. This is an actual set.
Oh, damn. That is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. There is no CGI. It's obviously been enhanced by CGI, but also, to New Zealand's credit, this is just what the country looks like.
Beautiful.
And then also, the pre-production crew just built a medieval little township on a hill.
Can we move in? I hope it's still there.
I mean, it does make sense that it's a real set because it explains, and I was going to ask this question. Why does their capital city look like it houses 30 people? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
They built the entire set. So, okay, that's fair then.
Get the angles right. Yeah.
So Medusel was built by Earl's son Brago, who after his father's death actually hunted down and eradicated the remaining Easterlings. But there will be more about the line of the kings after the break. Welcome back from the break, everybody. Thank you so much for sitting through that first half that I think I lost control of, frankly. So Brago had 3 sons, Baldur, Aldor, and Eofor, which I think is a great way to name your kids. Baldur swore an oath to get through the Paths of the Dead, which is where the traitorous ghost army was in the 3rd film that Aragorn would eventually go and recruit. Baldur was never seen again.
This is why. This is the male fantasy, right? Like, this is why we want to go live in this fantasy world where we can't eat grass and our population's low because we're virgins. Is because, like, you just get people who just, like, no context. I'm swearing an oath to break through the valley of the fucking dead. And I'm fucking going, guys. And that guy just leaves town one day.
And you never see him again.
And there is,
frankly, other than the fact that he allegedly has living parents, there is no evidence that he ever existed at all. Right?
It's just the fucking dead out there could speak to his presence, but
yeah, exactly. So he was just like, "Hey, heard there's a kingdom of the dead. Don't worry, Dad. Me and possibly my divine horse. We're gonna get through it." Anyway, he's gone, literally forever. The disappearance of Baldur devastated Brago as his oldest son. He died of grief and a broken man a year later in 2570 of the Third Age. And as the second oldest, Aldor became king of the Riddermark, and Eofor's line, he didn't become king, but his like family lineage would eventually lead to the births of both Eomer and Eowyn.
Okay, Eowyn sounds familiar, right?
Yeah, Eomer would become king of the Riddermark after the War of the Ring due to Theoden and his son Theodred's deaths, and Eowyn killed the Witch King of Angmar during the siege of Gondor, or the siege of Minas Tirith on the Pelennor Fields, basically. So,
I am no man.
Not a king, 2 very important great grandson and daughter, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Good genes. Aldor's rule was considered the golden age of Rohan, pushing out the last of the wild men and very much kind of cementing the borders of the region against Mirkwood, Gondor, all this whole thing. It's very much like the Rohan we know was established under this guy's rule here. Aldor became known as Aldor the Old after he died at the age of 101, which in the kind of medieval age context of the Lord of the Rings, he might as well have been like 40,000 years old in like 2024 times, right?
That's
or
old.
whatever year we're in.
I mean, that's old for us. That's old in this time. You live to 101? That's fucking old.
Yeah.
I had I had a great aunt that was 99, and it was like she was for 10 years. You'd be like, "How's it going?" She's like, and all she would say is, "I'm waiting to die." You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Nice
My
to see
grandfather
you.
died last year at 92 and had been saying like, man, all my friends have been dead for a decade for like 8 years straight. Like that sounds horrible, dude. Like you don't want to do that. Kill me when I'm 75. That's it. Put a bullet in me, guys.
I'm taking an oath that I'm going through the Valley of the Dead with my horse.
Yeah,
At
me too.
82.
I'm coming with you when we're both 75. Like that's it. This is my 75th birthday, or I guess your 75th birthday since you're younger. So this is the last day I'm willing to be alive.
Yeah, we're going before Jamie turns 75, so he can't come because they card at the door.
Sorry, dude.
No, dude.
Yeah, they card at the Valley of the Dead. Jamie's nuts. He's gonna be like 8 weeks away from being 75.
With my family record, I'll catch the early bus. Not to worry.
Yeah. Honestly, same though.
Yeah, me sitting here with two miserable parents, just like, yeah, guys, that sounds great.
All these fucking 90-year-old fucking grandparents, like,
God take me.
Yep.
Where was I? So anyway, Aldor the Old was succeeded by Freya, who at the time when I was reading this, I was like, ooh, a queen of Rohan. No, wrong. It is all men. It is nothing but kings of Rohan, no exceptions, nothing.
Okay.
Freya, F-R-E-A, and there's some odd accents that don't exist anymore, thank God, thrown in there. Freya in Old English simply means Lord. And he was the first in a long line of kings who would rule, thankfully, during more peaceful times. So Freya was succeeded by Freywin, and then Goldwyn, and then Dior, then Graham. One note I saw simply said that Freywin ruled uneventfully for 21 years, and God, if I'm ever in government for some just horrible reasons, just like Pete was prime minister uneventfully for 21 years. Just like, I mean, nothing bad. Yeah, exactly.
I would hope that the politicians that we elect just have fucking uneventful fucking times. You know, I was thinking about it today. We learned so much in history about the people who did bad. You know what I mean? Like everybody fucking knows Hitler's name, but like, you know, the guy who invented penicillin. Like I feel like a lot fewer people know his name. And he
Hitler,
fucking,
right?
Yeah, yeah. That man's name, Adolf Hitler. first horse lord of his name, Adolf Hitler.
Yep. Yep. And he won the Nobel Prize.
the Nobel Horse Prize.
No, that is true. Because I can't think of the guy who invented penicillin. I feel
Alexander
like
Fleming.
He was Canadian.
Do you remember the?
He was Scottish. Scottish guy.
Fleming.
Yeah. Do you know the shortest prime minister of Canada?
Adolf Hitler.
Our president that wasn't around for very long. Kim Campbell, the only female, 6 months in and out. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. 6 months sounds job. Yeah, 6 months. 6 months sounds too long because I remember. I know, like part of her absolutely torpedoing a chunk of the Conservative Party that straight up no longer exists anymore, where she was making fun of Jean Chrétien's face. So for the uninformed Americans, we did have a prime minister for a long time who half his face was paralyzed
from a stroke.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. And who, shockingly, in the 90s, we had a man who had actual brain damage and half his face didn't work. Still better than Sleepy Joe, just so you are aware.
I mean, yeah.
Still more love than Trudeau by a long shot, too.
He was not that old.
Well, he wasn't 500 years old, obviously.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he was not. He was not that old. He was not.
Yeah,
as old
but
as
he
Sleepy
had
Joe.
he had a brain attack, and it like straight up, it tried to stop working.
I saw a clip recently where Biden's like,
"Right, sounds fine.
This is a guy we can thank for $10,000 or $10 million of AIDS or something. It's like he blames this guy for AIDS, but it's someone who helped get rid of AIDS.
Some guy. He was talking to Elton John, Jamie.
I didn't catch that. We can thank this guy for AIDS. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, no, straight up. Also, let's not forget, not to get completely off track, where he's just like did a press conference where he's just like, I am not old and brain dead. Took 5 steps, turned around, and went back to the podium, and then started talking about a guy who died in 1996.
I mean, let's sleep with the Switch. God,
we're fine.
It's hard to watch.
We're fine.
America, you good? I feel like that was our. I tried to make that our catchphrase for a while.
America, you good?
America, you good?
Check in on Texas. Yeah.
Check in on Texas. They don't give a fuck. They're fine. Like, of course, fucking Texas got their like weird guy in a wheelchair who just hates immigrants. Like, what the fuck is going on, dude?
Damn.
Comic book
and then Ron Santos is Florida.
Yeah.
D Santis. Yeah. Or Ron three putting fingers to Santis. Yeah. Meatball Ron.
I love the boots.
There was one about Trump. He makes a good nickname.
Oh, dude, he is tragically hilarious.
Yeah.
The boots.
So good.
Have you seen Ron DeSantis' boots? He's got boots
like
that add like a bunch of height, and
the
like
high
people
heels
have
so
mapped out
severe they're actively crippling him. Yeah, it's crazy.
You know,
American politics is wild.
Yeah, you gotta be at least 3 inches taller if you want to be voted in. I guess.
Oh, man. I feel like there was an episode of Arthur about that. Like, Ron should have just checked it out.
I know how to count by 2s, and I have someone to help me tie my shoes.
No, that's Franklin. That's a turtle, not the aardvark, you idiot.
Fuck.
There was an episode of Arthur about the dangers of wearing high heels.
I can't recall.
Arthur
is subconscious about something. Anyway, we'll do an Arthur episode.
This is just stoned Pete dream that you had.
Anyway. Sleepy Joe can't read is the point of the story. That's all we're getting into. But I'm going to talk about a different guy who is way too old to be ruling, who is 101 and dying in Rohan. Where were we? Oh yes, uneventfully, Freywin ruled uneventfully for 21 years. Dior was the first king in the first line of kings, and we'll get into the second and third lines later, to see any conflict for some time. The fortress of Isengard was overtaken by the Dunlendings, or the Wild Men, as they're referred to. In the film, Saruman is seen recruiting basically a horde of vicious white men with beards to like raid. Basically, they are the kind of underclasses, or just like kind of a different kind. Probably the more of the like Germanic. The analog would probably like Germanic barbarians and stuff, like the forest people of the time, right?
Okay.
And they are called the Dunlendings or the Wildmen, but they are from Dunland, which is another region of Middle Earth, kind of in that area. After finding out that the fortress defenses were way too much to handle, Dior simply accepted the fact that this was a threat that they just have to work around for the rest of their lives. I didn't really anticipate speaking about Sleepy Joe so much because I did write into this paragraph, similar to how the entire planet treats the USA, which is just a threat we all need to work around politically.
One of many, honestly.
Yeah. So since Dior kicked the climate change can down the road, it was up to his son Graham to deal with the consequences. Graham's reign was one of raids and war, as the wild men continuously attacked the borders of Rohan from their fortress of Isengard. After his death, Graham would be replaced by his son, Helm Hammerhand. Now,
great name.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. Also, the line from the second film, "The Horn of Helm Hammerhand shall sound in the deep." We are going to get into Helm's Deep, baby, and why it's called that, and what happened. And I know it's been a bit of a messy episode. I'm a little weekend high and drinking beers on the show, so we're all having.
I feel like we say that every week now. How about we just accept who we are and just have fun, guys?
Never.
I am having fun. Just on the off chance this is your first episode, and you were just like, why is he called Helm Hammerhand? And do I need to sit through 45 minutes of Canadian guys calling him Sleepy Joe?
Absolutely. If you enjoy the rest of our episodes, just leave now if you don't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna stop.
Nope. Can't stop, won't stop, baby.
Hell no. Where was I here?
Helm's Deep.
Yes. So Helm Hammerhand. Honestly, on the subject of people who are way too fucking old, Helm Hammerhand, because his father was so old, he became king of Rohan when he was 50 years old, which in medieval times might as well be 83 or whatever, right? Or 105, like so fucking old.
Oh, he died at. I have his wiki open. He died at 68, 1 year shy.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
Not quite nice.
Could have been so cool, dude.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise it would have been like Nice as Deep or something like that. Helm had a beef with a local landlord, which is so good. I do love how, and I just is kind of just aside because I some of the stuff I watch on YouTube does like punch in like angry white guy YouTube, as I often call it, which is just like those guys who get so mad that there's like a girl in a video game, right? Like that genre of content. No, I do like partaking a little bit.
Content is a bold word to use to describe
Look,
those guys.
Content is just a generic term. Like, in like otherwise it would be slop if it was just mush.
I call it slop.
Like,
slop.
that whole thing. Because like I do consume a little bit of conservative content just to check, and YouTube is always
ready.
Just fucking hair trigger on the crazy
geared
shit.
up, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking revved engine, fucking ready to go.
Exactly.
Tires are heated up.
YouTube is just waiting to just fucking red pill every fucking white guy on the planet. Okay.
Yeah, I watched like one Sam Hyde clip, and it's like, this is like the 10 things that are wrong with like women. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, exactly. And again, I've said it multiple times. I watch state-funded media constantly. Yeah. I love the CBC.
We stay in the CBC here.
I love the National. Okay, my taxes pay for it, and I don't fucking care, and I don't think they're
biased. Marketplace, dude. That is good shit. Dude, mainline that shit.
I wait for at issue every week. Okay, that's my favorite fucking thing on the planet. But like,
if you're listening to this, download the CBC Gem app. Just do it.
It's free.
It's free.
Listen to It's Political with Althea Raj. She works for the Toronto Star. I love her.
I don't tune in, and I don't think you should do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Jamie says you should listen to Sam Hyde. Jamie says you should watch YouTube videos with Hyde from that 70s show. He's a big fan of Danny Masterson.
Yeah, definitely.
Notorious good guy.
Reject the lamestream media.
The lamestream media. But like, if you watch regular state-funded news, YouTube will always be just like, yo, you want to see the real shit? And I'm like, no, YouTube, I don't at all. And it takes fucking days to get rid of it. Anyway, I don't even remember why I was talking about this. I just don't want YouTube to fucking try and pill me, is the main problem. It's like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm very happy.
You're saying it's your problem with content creators who are like,
women in media. This is how I kind of like orbit some of the angry man YouTube thing of guys who get mad at Starfield for having pronouns instead of just fucking sucking, which is it's a proper reaction. Is like, no, I can't remember it all.
Can you imagine getting mad at pronouns instead of getting mad at like pharmaceutical companies? Like pharmaceutical companies. Imagine you're just like a right-wing guy who's like, no, capitalism's good, big corporations are good, pharmaceuticals should be doing this to us, but like women in my video games. Can you imagine being that guy?
Insane,
oh boy.
Man.
God, I had such a good point that I've completely forgotten.
Well, it's gone, Peter.
Just move on.
Learn to move on. Jeez Louise.
Oh, the landlord thing. Right. I love how white guy YouTube loves Tolkien. Just because all his characters are white. Except for the fact that Homeboy was like a massive hippie. And the villain we're about to talk about was a landlord. That was the point, right? Like he's just like, trees kill the industry guy. Yeah. And this man here is a landlord. So Helm had a beef with a local landlord of Dunland.
That was a great point, by the way. It's a great point.
I know it was.
We got you.
Sorry.
People tune in for this shit. Look at my dumb bitch cat.
There's a good cat behind you.
My guy's biting.
Yeah. So the local landlord named Freka Freka claimed to be descended from Freywin, which was one of the kings we mentioned earlier, making
Son of Freya.
making Helm the illegitimate ruler of the Rittermark. I don't know why he was just like, yeah, this is gonna work. When there was like a documented bloodline of other kings, and he just rocks up, he's just like, I'm the king, actually. He's very much the like forgotten aunt or uncle of the king's bloodline here.
Not to bring it back to American politics, but like Trump proved that this works. You can just go and lie, and like people won't care. You can just be like, no, it's me. I'm actually the king. And like, if you're charismatic enough, people will be like, yeah, this guy's the king. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're not the king. This guy's the king. Did you hear me just say he's the king?
Yeah.
Like, that happens. That's real.
That's every like fight for the throne after someone dies, right? No, I believe this guy's. It's more up to it, right? Like, yeah.
So this didn't really work on a lot of people here. Thank God these dirt farming peasants were somehow smarter than people with the internet. These dirt farming peasants, a guy in the 40s made up, were smarter than people on the internet.
Well, to be fair, these dirt farming peasants don't have Twitter, the Palantir evil orb that's speaking ills into their mind.
So much worse. I know. Yeah, I would take a magic orb in the Tower of Orthanc over Twitter, I think, any day of the week for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Again,
it's just one wizard who has access to it.
I would take a nebulous, unknown location, Valley of the Dead, that I could swear an oath to go conquer over the internet generally. Like, if that just existed in the world, and at any point I could just be like,
I like the internet.
At my office job, just like stand up at my desk and be like, that's it. Oath time. I'm going to conquer the Valley of the Dead.
I would get into a buggy every week and take at that speed, 19-hour journey to your house, Ethan, if we could press this podcast into a record. If giving up the internet was the thing. I was like, I'll do it. I'll travel. I'm just going to hang out with the boys.
We'll churn our own vinyl for the record.
Let's do it.
I'm going to make the YouTube video that people are the problem, the internet isn't. The bullets are killing the people, not the guns or something. Because I think the internet has a lot of good, and we wouldn't be as connected as we are today. If
Jamie believes that both sides should always have a say.
Yeah, I'm like, whenever things get rough, just wait it out, see who wins, and to take that side. You know. I think that's the best way for progress, but just saying.
Speaking of progress, let's kill a landlord, huh?
Me and Simon are on good terms right now.
If you have to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is your how-to for when you inevitably fall out of favor with your landlord again.
Oh, we will. Yeah, we're on shaky terms. We still don't like each other, but we've come to a business agreement that
I don't know their names. Is my strategy with mine? I simply tell them problem. Anyway. Do you guys want to know how Rohan dealt with their landlords?
Yeah.
How Helm Hammerhand dealt with it?
Yes.
Rohan, Roku's son.
Yes, he is the Amazon Prime.
Yes.
The Amazon-funded landlord. So Freka and his wildmen, backed up by seafaring corsairs, which are in the third film, approached Edoras on a mission to intimidate Helm into marrying off his daughter to Freka's son Wolf. The bargaining daughter is never named by J.R.R. Tolkien, which is cool. So
I mean, he's a hippie, not super feminist propaganda. The books, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, hey, whoa. It's really more about trees and women, more than women. Frankly, let's be real. It's like, well, what if women destroyed Orthanc? He's like, that's insane. It would be talking trees, actually. The women could never.
Oh, she killed the Witch King of Angmar, right? You gotta admit.
It's like, I'll give you guys one. Okay? Mm-hmm. She can kill one of my 9 immortal ghosts. How about that? It's like, all right, well, we'll take it. It is the 50s, after all. Helm's oldest son, Haleth, was killed while defending Meduselt, which was the Golden Hall in Edoras, the capital city that I showed you guys the set of. Yep. Wolf's army drove Helm and his people back to the fortress of Hornburg, where they laid siege. And the siege started in 2758, and it lasted into the winter of 2759. Afterwards, this would be called the Long Winter. Great. On an unsanctioned expedition for food, Helm's last living son, Hama, and his men disappeared during a blizzard, never to be seen again. This I don't know, kind of feels like a plot device where it's just like, oh, I didn't think of how these guys died. But the fact that we have 2 sons of Rohan disappearing without a trace does make sense in an era that is blessed to be without Twitter, because people do just fucking disappear, right?
Yeah.
Like
That's how it used to. That's how it used to go a lot too. Right?
like what? Like your like hide canoe tips over, and you just drown in a lake, and then fish eat your body. And
Did they make it out of hide?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, like
Sam
a canoe is like a tanned,
It's like a wood skeleton
at least,
with
like
hides. Yeah.
yeah, like the First Nations canoe in Canada at least is like a hide thing.
I always thought they were wood. That's interesting.
It's got a wooden skeleton.
Yeah.
With like deer skin on it or something.
I always thought they were all wood, I guess. Yeah, I didn't
modern,
think that
modern
the
ones
hide
are
would be
usually
enough.
like
fiberglass.
plastic. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta get your microplastic somehow.
Yeah, I mean, my boat when I was growing up, we had a 14-foot one was fiberglass, and then we had a metal one as well.
Any given lake, there's a flipped over paddle boat somewhere that people have access to.
Dude, I sank the fuck out of my paddle boat, dude. It was so good.
I feel like
Adrian was on it, and we were camping on an island, and we sank the shit out of that thing with him on it, and he freaked out. It was great.
Hell yeah.
I was much more of a swamp man opposed to the country man that the other boys were.
Swampman.
Yeah. Where was I? So Helm himself, powered by grief, hunger, and maybe some magic given to him by the massive war horn within the Hornburg, would often go out bare-fisted, wearing white armor to slaughter the men laying siege to the Hornburg. Now, during
fucking hell, yeah.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
No wonder they called him Hammerhand.
So they called him Helm Hammerhand because prior to the siege, I kind of buried the lead here a little bit. Prior to the siege, when he was debating with what was his name? With Freka. When they had met originally, they had gotten into a fight, and Helm punched him so hard one time that Freka eventually died. And then and then Wolf was the guy who was like, oh fuck. So he got his pirates and his savage barbarians basically to come together to lay siege to Rohan. But the name Helm Hammerhand is straight up from punching Freka once, and then he eventually died from being punched.
The guy who, as far as we know, like going with the naming conventions we've had so far, like Freka being the son of Freowyn makes more sense than suddenly us having a Helm in the mix, right? And it's like,
yeah,
and it's like, so there's this other guy who's like, I'm Freowyn's son, I'm the king. What are you guys talking about? And this guy is just like punches him to death, one punch.
Yeah, no, like Houdini, right?
Yeah.
Just like boom,
It's
got him.
I'm the fucking king. No more questions.
The guy from McGill who killed Houdini, never forget. In Montreal.
Is he from McGill? It was in Montreal, eh?
That
must be why we all know that from school, is because it's the one thing that's local. It's like, yeah, we killed Houdini.
Yeah,
at some point, we should probably do the Montreal Iceberg, where we can cover both killing Houdini and also MK Ultra, so we can get into like, you know, some of the cults. Yeah,
we could talk about the hazing where they were doing all the broomstick stuff.
Yeah, we could talk about French people. LOL.
Yeah.
Lol. Oh.
So, Helm Hammerhand himself would go out in white armor to blend into the blizzards that we're having during the long winter, and he would slaughter men with his bare hands who are laying siege to the Hornburg. Now, again, the horn is a big part in the movie, right? Where Gimli blows the horn, and Theoden, Aragorn, and these like surviving Rohirrim. I guess it's not the Rohirrim actually, but like the surviving horsemen within the Hornburg ride out to meet Gandalf on Shadowfax with Eomer and the Rohirrim who come down to defeat the Uruk-hai. And in the extended cut, chase them into the forest where living trees, obviously not human women because that would be ridiculous, kill them all.
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of like how that whole arc is wrapped up. Is just incredible. So due to his one morning, after like he'd gone out on multiple like solo expeditions to just fucking rip dudes to pieces with his bare hands. One morning, Helm Hammerhand was found dead and frozen after a blizzard, but he was still standing and his eyes were still open, and they said he still looked like he was ready to fight, which is why the entire ravine that the Hornburg is built inside of, it's carved out of a chunk of a mountain. The reason it's called Helm's Deep is due to the siege. And also Helm Hammerhand, he froze to death. He was a fucking badass killing wildlings with his bare hands also.
Very cool.
Until he froze to death.
Yeah.
Until he statued himself with ice.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe he was just ready to go.
Statue.
Or maybe...
Dude got gargoyled, man. Fuck.
Honestly, that's how I want to go. That sounds great.
At 75, we're going to the Valley of the Dead and gargoyling ourselves.
Yeah, I'd rather be gargoyled than burned to death, I think. Yeah.
I'll gargoyle you, then you gargoyle me. And,
we can do like 69, just gargoyle each other.
Yeah. I got confused. I'm gargling Ethan.
Yeah, I'm rock hard.
So due to both of his sons being dead, his nephew, Helm's nephew, Freyolaf, became king of Rohan after defeating the
other name that makes sense. This guy sounds like Freck, like Freyolaf. That fits the name. Where's Helm come in?
True. I know it was. Oh, well, they also had like Graham, like his father is Graham, and then Helm, right? And like we always need a couple of Grahams at a party, obviously. Then you
realize this was a gotcha interview, Peter. Okay, sure, fine. Graham's there too. Got Graham and Helm.
You guys are all about Twitter ruining the internet, but I've got nothing to say about the Graham, huh? Nothing at all.
Yeah. I still like the Graham.
I do it for the Vine.
Yeah.
It's all bad.
Yeah, exactly. We got Graham, Twitter, Helm, and then Vine. So due to his sons being dead, his nephew Freyolaf became king of Rohan after defeating the Wildmen and beginning the second line of kings. This is when the wizard Saruman decided to attend the ceremony where Freyolaf was crowned king, and he's just like, hey, listen, you killed all the savages. It would be really great if maybe the fortress that had the psychic orb inside of it could be mine, because I'm an angel and therefore can be trusted. I would love.
You're not using it. You're done fighting. You're done fighting the old men.
No,
come on.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Look, disregard the fact that the Numenor was destroyed and its Palantir is lost forever, possibly at the bottom of the bottom of the sea. Maybe they were tied to the Dark Lord. I would love it. That'd be cool. I'm Saruman the White. You can trust me. You can always trust white people.
I'm literally an angel.
Yeah,
absolutely.
In no way.
How long have you been around? 80 years? It's pretty long for a human. You know how long I've been around? Dawn of time, baby.
Yeah. How old's your horse? And he just goes, and he's just like, not even. 75.
Yeah, he's got the new horse. It's called the Shadow Cell Phone.
Yeah, Shadow Ethernet.
Shadow Fax. Yeah.
Shadow Dial-Up is way better than Shadow Fax.
Yeah.
So naturally, Saruman was allowed to claim it and keep it safe since he was one of the angelic Ainur. However, his true intent, like I said, was to get the Palantir held inside. The Palantir themselves, I'm not sure, because I really am not familiar with the Palantir or who they are linked to. I know there was one in Numenor, which led to the Black Numenorians, some of which became the Nazgul, or the Ring Race. And, like, there's all they're, like, very much, like, dark artifacts of Middle-earth. Like, they're very much of Morgoth, because I know that, especially in the films, obviously we see that, like, you get the cut to the eye, but they are evil, and they are two-way psychic orbs, where Gandalf states, like, well, we don't know who else is watching, sort of thing. And it's very much implied to be the thing that, like, corrupts Saruman and turns him into a fallen angel, more of like a Satan thing.
Right? In the book, in the movie, I think what I remember seeing at some point was that, like, he kind of always paralleled Sauron in a lot of ways. I mean, even just the name being as close to Sauron as it is.
Yeah.
But I'm looking it up now. The Palantir were made by the elves, by the Noldor in Eldamar.
Cool.
There we go.
The deep elves.
The deep.
Someday we'll talk about them.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, in 5 years.
They got a hell of a wiki page. Tell you.
Yeah. So the kings of the second line spent much of their time hunting and killing orcs very much kind of cleaning up after the long winter. Britta, Walda, Folka, Folswin, Fengel, and Thengel, who is Theoden's father.
Okay, these are bug snacks now. Now
They
you're
are,
fucking
yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
Fenga and Smegma?
Fengel and Thengel.
My
and
beautiful
Thengel,
children. Fenga and Smegma.
God.
which is Theoden's father, thankfully didn't need to deal with a whole lot of world-changing wars. So the second line of kings lasted from 2759 to 3019, when
There we
King
go.
Theoden and his son Theodred were killed during the events of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So Theodred is killed during a war on the river Isen, I believe, or Isen, Isen,
Eisen,
and then
as in
Theoden.
Isengard.
Yeah, well, it's all in that area, right? Like Isengard is in Rohan.
I know that's it's like you were asking how to pronounce it. It's Eisen, like Isengard.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's-
When you write this, it's not as self-evident, obviously.
I'm just trying to help out, Peter. This
I
is
know.
not a
Yeah.
gotcha. I'm just
When you're
trying to help.
copy pasting shit, it's not as easy to gain context. But yeah, so when King Theoden dies, and his son, obviously he buries his son in the second film, and who was killed prior to the
Events.
end of the War of the Ring. The succession leads to his nephew, who is Eomer, the leader of the Rohirrim, who are the elite Rohan cavalry. When he comes back, Eomer was eventually succeeded by his son Elfwin, who he had with Lithriel, who was the Gondorian cousin of Boromir and Faramir, and Faramir went on to marry Eomer's sister Eowyn and have children with her.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
We
that's
did it.
That is Rohan.
When Pete, when you told me we were going to a horse show, not what I imagined, but it was fantastic. If you all like the show as much as we do, consider leaving us a 5-star review on your podcast app of choice.
Absolutely.
Pete, you want to talk about Instagram?
At Lorewise Podcast on Instagram. I feel like I lost a plot there for a little bit. I'm a little out of it, but I had a
Hey,
great time.
the listeners are getting a 2-hour episode, and I'm sure they'll love it. Right? Hour and a half. We're
we're fine. $1.90. Who cares?
Buck 90.
Yeah, I know. $1.90 like
2.5.
There's 9 people waiting for me to start a raid at 10, and I told them, to be fair, I'm probably going to be late. I told them I'm probably not going to be there, but I just
2.5 minutes.
Yeah, I love thinking that like there's just 9 people waiting, and they have to wait because Pete is bumbling through his high sentence.
Just send them this episode.
Absolutely will, and if they listen to all of it, then I bet they'd love it.
I had a good time, and also, who cares? At Little Boys Podcast on Instagram.
Great.
Yeah. If you want to hang out with me, discord.gg/loreboys, LOREBOYS. That is where you can find us, and that's where we hang out. There's a Halloween or a Valentine's event for lonely. For okay, you want to come after me, Peter, for misspeaking? How about we rewind the tape? I'm gonna put a supercut of every time Peter misspoke, but
named a Mirkwood, Jamie.
Yeah. No, discord.gg/loreboys. There was a Valentine's event. No one showed up because everybody is super loved and on Valentine dates on Valentine's.
And Bussy and all of it.
Twitch.tv/loreboyjames. If you want to see me on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I just got my affiliate button. If you don't know what to do with your Twitch Prime, throw it my way. I'm a brand new channel. I could use the support, but if not, just come hang out. That's the best thing to do. Twitch.tv/loreboyjames. Now, Ethan, back to you.
Twitch.tv/loreboysjames. Man, so great.
Why do you just create? I put work into something, and then you just go and you try to destroy it. Is what? This is the last episode of the Lore Boys. We're breaking up.
I will stop plugging your beautiful Twitch channel, twitch.tv/.
You should honestly stop plugging our own stuff because you messed that up too.
Well, discord.gg/loreboys. I nailed it in one.
That one was good. You got it in one. Yeah.
So twitch.tv/loreboysjames. You can trust me.
Loreboy James. No way.
If you want to support this, whatever this is, and all the beer we buy to drink and on the show, Patreon.com/theloreboys. We got tiers. Check them out. You'll like it. Buys Jamie Crustables. Uncrustables.
Yeah, I need them. Yeah, I can't cut my own crust in this economy.
Crustables. He need them. Lore Boys, Patreon. Please do. Thank you. If you don't...
That's a good ad, I gotta say. Please do.
My best Charlie Kelly. Charlie Day did it first, I guess. I walk in the footsteps of Giant.
Yeah, are you tired of just video games giving you too much lore? Well, just listen to the Lore Boys, where we can break it down into little tiny facts broken up by silly jokes, where you can digest it at your own pace.
You will get to it. But.
Yeah. And if you don't touch Patreon, we of course have Lore Boys Prime service, which we've always offered. We're giving away horses this time, of course. Some of them are magic, some of them aren't. We got too many horses. We gotta get rid of them. Okay. Fucking sign up already and take some of these horses off our goddamn hands.
You know how much it costs to house a horse?
Oh, the upkeep is insane. It's insane, dude.
You gotta sell 3 just to take care of 1, for Christ's sake.
What do you do with all the poop? I
put it in the river. I don't know.
If you guys don't know,
safe to drink.
We've got more glue than we have paper.
Look at New York City in the 19th century. The poop is a problem. The poop is a real fucking problem. Okay,
New York City now.
Yep.
Yeah, the poop is a problem.
Check out the New York to New York Paris race.
Is a problem.
The big crapple. Anyway,
and I think that would constitute a Lore Boys.
Lore Boys.
In response.